What's up, residents? And as you could already tell, this video is going to be a little different. Alistair and I have been talking a lot lately, and we realized we don't really show our faces enough to you guys, so here you go. Sorry for the not so spectacular setup and all that. I'm trying to move, and then after that happens, I'll get it all set up and make a nice little set, I guess. But anyway, let's get to the topic for today. So ever since the MonsterVerse first started way back with Godzilla 2014, there's been one question that's really stood out more than the others, and that is, do the mecha monsters like MechaGodzilla, MechaGhidorah, maybe even Mecha Kong have any sort of place in the MonsterVerse with its more realistic, until recently, kind of vibe that it's trying to put together? Alistair actually made a video earlier this year, I believe, talking about this, so if you want to go check that out, feel free. I'll put a link down below and at the end of the video. So outside of our opinion though, there have been fans saying yes and no and giving theories as to how the mecha monsters could or couldn't make sense. From what I've seen, and this is just my opinion, the fans that are saying no to the mecha monsters are the original MonsterVerse fans, the ones that really loved Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island. Those first two films were more realistic, you can say, and so that's why, the mecha monsters wouldn't really make sense going off of those movies. And then the opposite side of things, the people that say yes to the mecha monsters, tend to be, at least from what I can see, original Godzilla Toho fans. Obviously they appreciate and like the mecha monsters because, they have such a long history in the Toho films, and that's fair. But leaving behind opinions and all that, we now have some information that may just lead to the future of the MonsterVerse having a mecha monster. Now let's go to the famous King of the Monsters end credit little news montage scene that just has all this juicy info in it. Specifically the news page that has the heading, "Monarch boosts forces around Skull Island." If you look and read the fine print on this, you see a nice little tidbit of information. I'll read it for you guys right now. De La Rosa went on to claim that Monarch was not only developing this mechanized giant on Skull Island, but had already tried to create organic titans in the past, and that they are the cause of several of the recent Titan incidents. And although we can't see all of what's said, the sentence that ends before what I just read says, "or even be used as a tool for war against other humans." That sounds a hell of a lot like MechaGodzilla or MechaGhidorah or Mecha Kong, right? So obviously I'm going to point out that this could just be a clever, cool little Easter egg that they threw into the credit scene here, and it could have no relevance to the future of the MonsterVerse. But what the hell's the fun in that, right? Let's discuss how this potentially could make sense in Godzilla vs. Kong. The synopsis for Godzilla vs. Kong said something along the lines that man have created a weapon that threatens the entire planet, kaiju and human alike. And unless they're making a new technology or like a new weapon, what other thing makes more sense than a MechaGodzilla, for example? So the movie's out on digital and it's coming out on physical copies here soon, King of the Monsters I mean. So at this point, with spoilers, you should be past it. So I'm going to talk about that end scene, the end of the credits, that talked about Ghidorah's head that was left, specifically Kevin. So a lot of fans are saying that this is going to be used to create the mecha monster, MechaGhidorah possibly. And that could be, but that doesn't really make sense with what's said in this article here, because it's saying that Monarch is trying to develop this mechanical beast, not the terrorist group with Jonah leading it. So that kind of throws a curveball with that right there. And if Monarch was trying to create MechaGodzilla, I just feel like that would be a little bit too difficult, even for the now more futuristic, less real kind of take that they're doing after King of the Monsters for the MonsterVerse. It just, with Godzilla, there's too much going on, like they'd have to make the spikes, they'd have to make the tail, they'd have to worry about it breathing some sort of fire, shooting some sort of laser beams, and that just would be a bit too much, at least in my opinion. This is just my opinion on all this. So that kind of leaves us with it being Mecha Kong. Mecha Kong, or Mechani Kong as some like to call it, is definitely not as well known as MechaGodzilla or Mecha King Ghidorah. This robotic twin of King Kong was first introduced in the 1966 animated television series, The King Kong Show. And then it was featured again in the 1967 film, King Kong Escapes. Since the King of the Monsters news piece says that this mechanical monster is being created on Skull Island, and of course that's where King Kong or Kong is chilling all the time, it kind of makes sense for them to be, I guess, copying the physical anatomy of Kong and creating something that's much more simple than a giant robotic reptile, you know? We as humans, we stand upright. It's more simple. We don't have tails. We just, we're kind of simply built. And Kong is just like us, more or less, a little hairier than, well, at least than some of us. So, that kind of makes more sense, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think? So at the end of the day, this could just be a gigantic Easter egg, which would still be cool. But with a lot of people really wanting a mecha monster, even though it doesn't necessarily make sense in the MonsterVerse, or at least it didn't with the first two films, King of the Monsters definitely amped up the non-realism, if that's a phrase, I don't know. So that could happen. It could actually happen. I want to know what you residents think. So make sure and let me know down in the comments. We're going to start trying to make more videos showcasing our face, so if you like it, thumbs up, let me know. If you don't like it, tell me, Jacob, get off the damn screen, you ugly bastard, and I will. It's all up to you guys at this point. But on that note, I'm only here doing this because of you guys, so thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.